They say the sun is a burning ball in the middle of nowhere floating. That's very hot. No, it's a lot of fire and it's very hot. But when there's fire here on Earth and you go near the fire, it gets hotter, right? And then the theory is if you get too close to the sun, you burn like Icarus. Burn. But is that true? Because the higher we go up to the mountains, it gets colder. When we go high on an airplane, it gets colder. It should get hotter when you go up the mountains, right? If that was true. But where's the ice? And where does it snow? It snows at the top of the mountain and it stays there. So, they lied to us again.
You might be amazed to find out, but the Globers still don't understand gravitation in their own model. Everybody's still under the impression that it's mass attracting mass, something like this. Newton theorized that the mass of the Earth, which was assumed to be this insane shape, a sphere, is actually pulling, using a force to attract the apple to the ground. But that's not the current model of gravity anymore. You can't use that. It's been superseded by general relativity. The best part of this is there will actually be Globers in the comments that will tell me to go buy a book and read it. So, let's read. Gravitation. In general relativity, the analogous statements will describe how the curvature of space-time acts on matter to manifest itself as gravity. So it's not mass attracting mass. The curvature of space-time. What they're theorizing is something like this, that the vacuum of space that doesn't exist with no properties at all can be bent by physical matter, creating gravity wells. So it's just what you see under this theoretical fake Earth that doesn't exist. Essentially, all I'm trying to get at is when somebody comes to you in a debate and says, no, everything falls to the Earth at 9.83 meters per second squared. That proves gravity. They can't argue that the mass of the Earth is attracting said thing, 9.83 meters per second squared, towards the ground. They have to argue that this space around that object is being warped into a gravity well, falling to the Earth, and there's absolutely no evidence for this. I'm not making this up. Right here, it is impossible to detect the existence of a gravitational field by means of local experiments. As usual, this entire model is unfalsifiable, which is not science. If you don't recall, it's also impossible to detect the orbit around the sun, which is supposed to be 66,600 miles an hour, right around there. Here's Einstein. Since then, I have come to believe that the motion of the Earth cannot be detected by any optical experiment. He went on to say that no experiment could prove this locally. Similar to gravity, pretty unfalsifiable. Doesn't seem like science. Have I mentioned dark energy and dark matter yet? Again, two things that we have no idea what they are, what they're made of, and their complete theories make up 95% of the universe in the heliocentric model. We don't know what it is, but the rest of the universe, including everything on Earth and everything observed with all of our instruments, is made up of baryonic matter. Dark matter tends to pull the universe together, while dark energy tends to drive it apart. Isn't that just a fun little bedtime story? So why did they theorize dark matter and dark energy in the first place, Caleb? Good question. Because gravity didn't work. Fritz Zwicky studied the motion of galaxies within the Cone cluster and noticed that their observed velocities were much higher than could be explained by the visible matter in the galaxies, meaning there was not enough matter to explain how fast they were going with gravity's current model. So they just made up that there's dark matter, matter that you can't see, can't observe, can't experiment for, and dark energy. That is the full current model of gravity, in which needs to be defended by anybody trying to propose that we are on a ball or that the sun is the center of the solar system because it's a bigger mass or any of this nonsense. Prove gravity well. Have a good day. Believe it or not, the Globers still don't understand what gravity is in their own model. So today I'd like to thoroughly and honestly explain the extent of gravity. Heads up. Gravity is no longer mass attracting mass, theorized by Newton when an apple fell and hit him on the head. That's not what the current model of gravity is. That's hundreds of years old and was superseded by Einstein in the general theory of relativity. Globers are always telling me to buy a book and read, so let's check it out. Gravitation. In general relativity, the analogous statements will describe how the curvature of space-time acts on matter to manifest itself as gravity. What's funny is if you keep reading, in chapter 2, we motivated our discussion on manifolds by introducing Einstein equivalence principle, or EEP, in small enough regions of space-time, the laws of physics reduced to those of special relativity. It is impossible to detect the existence of a gravitational field by means of local experiments. Sounds unfalsifiable. So when you hear somebody trying to argue that gravity is mass attracting mass and the Earth's really big and it pulls us and it holds us onto the Earth, no. They have to literally argue, if I grab a pen and drop a pen, right here, drop it, they have to argue that that pen warped the space around it, created a gravity well, and fell to the Earth. Want to know how to confuse gravity? Get an orange and peel it. To understand the full extent of pseudoscience that encompasses gravity, we're definitely going to have to talk about dark energy and dark matter. And I hope you guys are all very comfortable with gravity completely changing frameworks soon. NASA.gov is hinting at it on their website. But let's talk dark energy and dark matter for a second. Essentially, dark matter and dark energy were theorized because there were galaxy clusters spinning too fast. And when we looked at them, the mass that was there was not able to explain how they were going so fast, the velocity. So they theorized that there was actually matter and energy that's just invisible. Nobody can see it, detect it. We're doing an experiment to prove it, but you have to believe it. This should be called the heliocentric starter pack image right here. This is all you need to understand the problems with this stuff, and these people will just scream physics. Oh, and before I forget, this makes up 95% of the entire universe in the heliocentric model, and without it, gravity doesn't work. Gravity can easily be explained by buoyancy, density, electrostatics, and magnetism, and I've already made a video on it. You should go check it out. It's labeled Gravity Debunked by Science. Can me and you talk about the moon for a second? I'm really curious if anyone actually believes this. So the current scientific consensus is that the moon was formed from a collision between early Earth and a Mars-sized planet called Theia, approximately 4.5 billion years ago in Hadeanion. The collision created a large debris ring around the Earth, which then accreted to form the moon. Gravity bound the ejected particles together, creating a moon that is the largest in the solar system in relation to the host planet. Some simulations suggest the moon may have formed immediately in a matter of hours when material from the Earth and Theia were launched directly into orbit after the impact. That doesn't make sense with Saturn. How would Saturn's ring stay exactly the same for thousands of years, but our ring around our Earth that hypothetically exists turned right into the moon, which then became tidally locked to the Earth, only shows us one face, is cyclical with 28 phases, affects women's periods. That just doesn't seem real to me, but let's keep reading. The collision also resulted in the 23.5. They changed it from 23.4 to 23.5, so it's not 666 on a 90-degree axis. That's weird. Thus causing the seasons. So not only did this Mars-sized planet come shooting through the fake vacuum of space, hit the Earth, and cause a cyclical tilt in which we experience seasons every 3 months, but somehow created the moon at the same time. So what they're saying is impacts from things out in space cause life. If we didn't have seasons, we wouldn't have life here in their model. So that perfect little Mars planet hitting us and just setting us on that perfect tilt where we tilt every 365 days and reset and all this came from a collision. Does anybody actually believe this?
What up, fam? If you guys want to learn more about the true Earth, then you got to check out the Flat Earth Clock app. This is dope. Alright, this is what the app looks like. Just type in Flat Earth, you'll be able to find it. Alright, so on the main page, if you click the question mark, it'll lead you to this. And then from here, just click on whatever question you have. For example, seasons, and it will bring you to a playlist that's made that has a bunch of videos that answer these questions. Now, you're not going to be able to find these on YouTube just by typing in seasons flat earth or moon rotation flat earth. These are all shadow banned. Dave did a great job putting them all together in one place. Alright, so here if you do a time lapse, you can see the sun and the moon, how it goes over the earth. But check this out. And then you can also put the constellations on there and do a time lapse and see how those reset perfectly, just like we say, over a flat earth. Now this part's legit. If you turn on the location services, you can see other true earthers that are in the area. When I started, this was 40,000, now it's around 112. There's another spot in the app for photos that you can utilize that has a lot of really good information. So yeah, if you guys want to learn more about True Earth, I highly encourage checking out the app. Any questions you have, I guarantee they'll be answered in the app. Great place for resources, links, photos, etc. And if you do end up downloading it, here's my referral code. No Globers, I don't get any money for this. It just shows you how many people you helped. Cheers. What up, fam? Let's talk about flights and the paths that they take, not around our Earth, but over the Earth. Let's get into it. Also, that's why it's called an airplane. It flies in the air over a plane. Pretty simple. And just a friendly reminder that to even fly a plane, you have to assume the Earth is flat and non-rotating. So whenever we circumnavigate, it's always east to west or west to east. It's never north to south, because the Earth is actually flat and Antarctica surrounds the entire Earth, so you can't fly over it and pop up on the other side, because the Earth is not a ball. They should be able to fly all the way over Antarctica on a globe, but they never do. Alright, so allegedly this is the globe model with flights. If you're flying north and the Earth is spinning west to east, how are you going to land on a runway going north? You'd completely destroy your plane. Completely. As seen right here.
When you're traveling at the speed of, we landed about 143 knots, so that's quite fast. So, the movement of the Earth is not negligible. It's basically standing still as compared to our motion at them. The ground looks to us like it's standing still.
Yeah, not an issue.
Yeah, no.
Alright, now with all that being said, here's some actual flights shown on a globe and a flat map. Use discernment and figure out which one makes more sense.